In under a month, I am set to have my first solo exhibition ever. I am obviously super stoked. I'm a bit nervous and I'm looking forward to it, honestly. I've changed up my whole style for this solo exhibition and I've landed in a style that I feel like it's more me than I've ever done. I've been painting pretty paintings for the longest time and it's pretty, but where's the punch? It didn't pack a punch, you know? It didn't have an emotional charge. So, through visualization and through constant meditation, I was led to this intuitive language that I am now speaking, both here and here. Now, it's been a wild journey thus far. I've been making art full time for 3 years. Correction, the first 2 years I was on welfare as well, but the last year. This is honestly the first time I've felt ready to actually have a solo exhibition because up until this point I feel like I've copied everybody else. For the first time now, I feel like I'm actually doing myself. And that was important to me to land an expression before I had the first exhibition. The way I've approached it is I've had other exhibitions, group exhibitions earlier, and the last exhibition I had, I produced in 10 days. So I exhibited like, I don't know, 15 paintings or something like that, maybe 12. In 10 days, it were huge paintings and it was an impossible challenge, but I wanted to put myself to the test, you know? I wanted to see what I was able to do when I was actually put under fire. And that was sort of the whole theme for the exhibition. The theme that we are capable of doing so much more than we think when we stop limiting ourselves and when we start focusing on an end goal and just working towards it, having that end goal in mind and having full faith that we can actually reach the end goal by the time we get there. This time, though, I have taken my time and I've produced possibly the same amount of paintings actually in now half a year than I did in 10 days. And that might be surreal, but at the same time, like this painting, for example, I've spent a week on, and it might not look like it, but it's taken me quite a lot of time to actually figure out the story of each painting and intuitively get to both land the colors because I'm super wary that the colors are probably one of the things I'm most obsessed about in this exhibition. It was the last exhibition as well, but this time I'm pushing myself to use new colors. And especially now that I've produced for half a year for this, I noticed that it's also challenging for me to not retell the same story. So I've had to dig deeper and figure out what do I actually want to say? How do I actually want to say it? And I'll be completely honest, like most of the time, I don't even know what I'm saying. But you'll see here, this is a witch doctor. And this guy is obviously, he is over and out, to put it that way. You have a tiger, it's fun. So it's this combination of actual storytelling and just some fun elements. I am basically exploring my subconscious through a naive painting language. I don't necessarily care for the perfection in this. Like you'll see the tiger, it's sort of messy, but it's done messy on purpose because the emotional charge is more important to me than the finite or the finished painting, to put it that way. That's also why you see the white areas. I'm sort of playing with the fact that life is never done. Life is we are constantly learning. We're never finished with anything. Hence, life is a work in progress. And instead of trying to perfect a work in progress, I've decided to lean into the imperfections and sort of shine a light on the fact that the imperfections is possibly what makes us perfect. It is set to be in under a month, and concrete things that I've done, I've already made an invitation for a dinner I've set to have 2 days before the opening. I've also written down a list now of 30 people that I am to invite to this pre-opening, and I'm not sure if I'm supposed to keep it at 30 or extend it to 40 or take away some people and get it down to possibly like 15, 20. I'll figure that out because I know that 30 people on the pre-opening is essentially 30 people that is necessarily going to show on the actual opening. So that's a balance I have to find. But my goal is to sell paintings before the opening. And I am actually quite confident that I'm able to do that. I just don't know how. But setting the goal and keeping the end goal in mind is what I am to do. And I know that if I just keep my focus on that, then it'll solve not necessarily itself. It takes conscious action, but the universe is on our side. And the intention behind that is to gather both friends, family, and also collectors, people that have collected my art previously. And it's obviously to sell paintings, like I want to sell art. But it's also to have, to create deeper connections to the people that have bought my art up until this point, because connection is a network is important when you're establishing new things, and if you want to get places you have to have a network behind you carrying or at least supporting you along the way. So I have high hopes for the pre-dinner. We're gonna have some good food, some wine, and just chat. Hopefully sell quite a lot of paintings that night. I've made the invitation, and I think I'm gonna I'm gonna make them as like, what are they called? Letters, like handheld letters, because I feel like that's more both old-fashioned and more personal than just shooting a message. Everybody can shoot a message, but if I were to show up at your door and say you are invited to my next exhibition, not only the exhibition but a pre-opening for the exhibition, I feel like that's a more exclusive way to do it. Now the theme of the opening night is gonna be sweatsuits, because that's the thing I valued throughout my childhood. That every Christmas and the day before Christmas we have this tradition that we show up in sweatsuits or sweatpants, sweatsuit. Yeah, I think that's the word for it, or pajamas basically, and we eat good food and we have a good time. And personally, the second I wear a suit, like I feel comfortable now in a suit, but one of the things that I didn't like when I was younger was the fact that every Christmas it feels like everybody sort of pretends that everything is all of a sudden fine, and we put on this extravagance of both finer dining and better clothing, and everything has to be sort of perfect. So I want to break that stigma. I want to invite to a dinner and have people show up as themselves, because the whole topic of this exhibition, it's called Ikke som alle andre, or not like anybody else, not like everybody else. And I want to lean into the fact that we are all unique individuals. We are all unique beings. We all see the world in a specific manner, right? Only you view the world like you do. But what we tend to do is we want to fit in, right? So we sort of push ourselves to the side in order to fit into a constrained society. We are trying to fit into the norm, not even knowing what the norm is. So we sort of tend to forget ourselves in order to fit into something that we don't even necessarily want to fit into, but we feel like we have to, right? Or else we'll be rejected by society, or else we will be rejected. And I know for a fact that it wasn't up until the point where I found art that I actually felt like I fit in. And I didn't necessarily fit in because I changed myself. It was rather I finally fit in because I was able to express myself. And in art, it's okay to be unique. In art, it's okay to be weird, to be funky, to be different, you know? If you're not different when you're an artist, you're sort of breaking the stigma, like we're supposed to be weird. That's what we do. You don't have to have mental illnesses, but like name any painter that is one of the greats that isn't weird, you know, that isn't sort of outside the norm. And that to me has been the most liberating thing ever, because for the first time I feel like I can just be me. And even though I'm weird, even though I'm funky, even though I don't view the world in the same way that everybody else does, it's sort of accepted. I'm supposed to be like this. I'm supposed to be outside the norm. And for a guy who's felt shackled his whole life, that's been immensely helpful. And that again is sort of the theme of the exhibition. Me finally showing who I truly am for possibly the first time. Without a filter, without a mask. And we're getting to the point now where I sort of feel like through painting, the story is kind of, it isn't fully told, but it's starting to land. And I don't even know the wholeness of my story. I don't even know what I said, but I can just feel that it is soon time to switch focus from painting to promoting. And since I haven't done this before, I am sort of in, I don't even know what to do, but we'll figure it out as we go. I also set new goals for myself today, and that is I've been watching some Netflix and stuff like that in the evenings up until this point, and it's been essential to relax. But since it's a whole month now till the opening, the new goals are no Netflix. If I am to watch YouTube, it is to be productive. And other than that, I just have to sort of bear with myself, or bear living with myself. And we'll see how that goes. I have no idea, but I like spending time with myself, but I'm also addicted to my phone. So I have to sort of break out of that. And again, I'm curious to see what I'm able to do if I stop distracting myself and instead lock fully in, because I've been locked in for a month? No, half a month. Now, I've stopped doom scrolling, so that's fucking lovely, but I've switched out TikTok in the evening with Netflix in the evening. So now it's time to switch out Netflix with possibly reading or just locking in and doing more work. So this can be as good as it's gonna be. I've also set the date to be the 26th of November, and It's gonna open at 18:08. That is the pre-dinner. The actual opening is the 28th of November, and that is purely because of numerology and the power of numbers, the power of synchronicities. So 2 plus 6 is 8, and we do like the number 8. Number 8 is essentially infinity and abundance, balance, everything, right? 1808 is basically, again, 8. So I'm playing on double 8s on the pre-opening. We do like that. We'll see how it goes. I feel like my objective as of right now has been to produce the best paintings that I possibly can. And more than that, I feel like I can't necessarily control. Like I cannot control the response of people. All that I can do is to express myself to my fullest potential. All that you can do is to express yourself to your fullest potential. And as long as we keep on doing that, I feel like the universe will reward us graciously for our dedication, because I've been obsessed with this. I've lived in the studio. Not literally, but it's felt like it. And I think that's pretty much it. Till next time, see you.